Folgers Classic Instant Coffee Crystals. That's the good stuff. Freshly opened. Ooh, that's some good smelling stuff. I'm gonna measure it. Just poured a ton of the crystals in. Here we go. And right in. Black instant coffee. A little stir. Alright. So we're making this to compare it to another coffee. This is about as American as you can get, the Folgers. First impressions. Oh, that's horrendous. We got the straight coffee crystals dissolved in water on the right. That's right from my coffee cup. And on the left, that's the 10x dilution. We're going to spin them out just in case we got some particulates. Alright, here we go. The Fuge here. Let's see. We got actually really soluble. Those are some really nice instant crystals. Not any precipitate that I can see. A little baby precipitate right there. Not a big deal. It's too dark. I had to dilute it out another 2x, so we're at a 20x dilution total. On to the Zevo Q-Top. Alright, Folgers Instant Coffee. This is the serious data set here. We sort by the least negative CSI fingerprint ID score, giving us more competent hits like this. Okay, so the first hit, and it's seeing it with a bunch of different addicts, so it's showing a bunch of times, is caffeate. Caffeic acid or caffeate is one of those principal compounds in coffee. It is a lignin degradation product. These are supposed to be healthy, but free caffeic acid can be found in varieties including brewed coffee at a pretty high amount, 96 mgs in 100 mils. That's a pretty good amount, so we would definitely see that. Alright, so lots of caffeine. We have like what looks like some sort of lipopolysaccharide or lipid here. So this is a lipid, oxidized low density lipoprotein 16. I don't know what the heck this is a palmitic acid chain. Okay, so this is a 16 palmitic acid. It's just a little bit of palmate fatty acid is what that is. So maybe some oil in there. Okay, so then we got something called Hairy Guard. Hairy Guard's showing up like a million times here. Anytime I see it like a bunch of times, I always feel like it's being added in like synthetically or it's just not natural. This is another name for chlorogenic acid. Chlorogenic acid is another one of these major components of coffee. It is, again, a known lignin biosynthetic pathway. It's like with quinic acid, and this is well known to be in foods, specifically coffee beans. So again, making perfect sense here. The things we're finding, it's like they designed the Folgers coffee. I think it's coffee. I mean, it's freeze-dried crystals, so you don't really know for sure. Okay, so now we're seeing eucalamide. I don't know what the heck that is. Let's search that one. So eucalamide is a fatty acid resulting from the condensation of this with ammonia. Starting to seem even more synthetic. I mean, why would you have an ammonia synthetic fatty acid thing going on here? Maybe that's just a bad ID. But this does seem like it's something that's used as a dispersant in the printing and dyeing. It's used in the paper and textile industry. So maybe, I don't know, maybe something from processing. Then haramide. These things, when I see these like weird names like these Rufus TTP, these are usually like trade names for phthalates or flame retardants. This is a plastic. Alright, this is a weird one. So this is called Lanix. It's a flame retardant, compatible with different plastics. This is some of the stuff that we keep talking about. Is you're going to keep finding these like flame retardants in food products and clothing and on fabrics. All sorts of these things are out there in the world. Again, seems like a cellulose resin additive called triphenyl phosphate. Alright, so anyways, keep going down here. Getting some this coumaroquinic acid. That's another like lignin degradation. This is pretty another coffee signature coffee molecule. We have this, which is kind of a weird name. So I guess maybe it is another word for tryptophan. Usually you hit synonym words. Let's see, chemical That's the thing with Cirrus. Cirrus does like to use a lot of synonyms because it's a foreign database. Tryptophan. So there is a bit of tryptophan in there. Interesting to see that. Okay. Isochlorogenic acid. These things, the ferulates, that's ferulic acid to become isochlorogenic acid. These all make perfect sense. We got caffeine. See how it spells caffeine? Kind of odd. That's just because of the database. So caffeine, xanthan. So this xanthan and caffeine are related because caffeine is a xanthan alkaloid. So if it has xanthan, it is like a precursor, another alkaloid from caffeine and coffee. I've always kind of been kind of worried about these guys being too high concentration in different like green caffeine, organic caffeine extracts like green coffee extract. But it looks like there is some xanthan in there, which this is kind of a proof that it's definitely, that it's not fake. It's coming from at least caffeine derived from tea or coffee. So that's like a biosynthetically derived coffee. We got both p-xanthan there. Let's see if we see anything else that's really interesting. So once I start getting down into the negative 40s and 50s here on this number, then I start thinking maybe we're not going to be seeing stuff that's real anymore. So this is kind of a weird one. I don't know if this would be in coffee. Let's see. If any times there's an OSE, OS, that's typically a sugar, and this is a weird sugar. So, hey, so it's not a sugar. That's just another name for theobromine. So there is a little bit of theobromine, which is chocolate's flavor, and that is in, change that name there. It should be at 181 in mass. We can just double check. Yep, see, there it is at 181 in mass. So that's definitely theobromine. It's another indication that it is some sort of coffee extract for sure, because why would there be theobromine? Maybe they're adding it from another means. And everything else seems kind of not interesting. So the coolest things are the fact that there is some theobromine, some xanthan, some caffeine, a bunch of bunch of quinic acids and chlorogenic acids, and caffeic acids and ferulic acids, which are all things that you'd expect in coffee. We also have this lysolectin, which is, I think, some sort of thickener. Oh, that's interesting. So this is called lysophosphatidylcholine, and it is potentially a synthetic they use mainly in skincare, but this is, I don't know, that's an interesting one. Does seem like it's being sold kind of industrially, so that's kind of a strange one to find in there. But anyways, this is the set. Feel free to pause it and try to search some of these things. As you go down in the list, it gets less confident. See here, these are the names. So we get them on the same screen, the number and the names. There we go. Number and the names on the same screen. So as you get down lower, down into the negative 30s and 40s, it starts getting considerably less confident. But yeah, pretty good data set from the Folgers Instant Coffee Crystals.